Which camera should I look at, Bruce?
There's a couple different ones, isn't there?
Can we go wide cam?
You're on the left there. You're on the left next to.
Which camera do you guys want me to look at? Comment in the YouTube real quick. Put a poll out for them.
You
right
look
now.
at your camera, your normal camera.
Who's on? Is Sam on or am I on right now?
You're on.
This is behind the scenes of a podcast.
We got a couple different screens going. It's confusing.
Look at my normal camera. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Today is Friday, January 3rd, 2025. It's the first time we've been able to say 2025 on the podcast. Welcome aboard. For those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. We're happy to have you. For those who have stuck around, we appreciate you. It is the biggest regular season game in NFL history. We're here to talk about it. We're here to talk about the whole week. But before we do that, I got to introduce some people. First, to my right, for those that don't know him, this is the one, this is the only Uncle Sam.
Hello.
And live from Marco Island, Florida, over Zoom, unfortunately not with us today, with a all-white getup on, we have the usual host of the show, Samuel Randazzo. Is it Samuel? What's on your birth certificate so they can dox you? Is it Sam or Samuel? Interesting, because my brother is just Sam, so I was wondering. Yeah, it's just Sam. My grandpa was Sam. On the decks, behind the ones and twos, we have Bruce, the tugboat, Venditti. Did you cut to you? I can't tell. Oh, you did. You did cut to you. They always want to know what you look like, so I think it's important that you come aboard. Bruce is one of three. He's the youngest of three in the Venditti family, and
the sperm count was real low on that third shot.
You know, we may have been missing some DNA on the last one, but it's okay. We're here. We're all here. We're all gonna have a good time. They say they can't hear Sam in the chat, Bruce, and YouTube.
They can't hear him.
Yeah. Bruce is gonna troubleshoot that right now. We'll figure it out. Anyways, welcome aboard. I hope everyone had a great week. We have a massive slate coming up this weekend. There's a couple divisions on the line, not just the NFC North, but our counterparts in the AFC North also have a division at stake. The NFC South is on the line. Tampa Bay can clinch it with a win, or the Atlanta Falcons can clinch it with a Tampa loss and a win. We could talk some college football playoffs, some interesting games over the weekend, or not over the weekend, over the last 3 days. It's been a fun year. We've been happy to have you guys along for this ride, but it's coming to an end for how many teams there? 18 teams, right? My math right there? For 18 teams, it's completely coming to an end. Another 14 are going to go on and try and make a run towards the Kansas City Chiefs. As Uncle Sam likes to say, for those that haven't been here before, the road to the Super Bowl goes through Arrowhead. So we're going to find out who plays the Kansas City Chiefs this year in the Super Bowl, right? Is that who you're picking in the Super Bowl?
Sorry?
Are you going to pick the Chiefs to go to win the AFC?
Yeah.
But before we do that, Sam, tell us about your New Year's, because I want to see if your mic's working.
Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. No, it's not.
Nope, apparently it's not working. Bruce, we'll have to troubleshoot that, huh?
Well, it's kind of hard when I can't hear him. I got to see his sound levels.
Oh, interesting.
I'm working on it here.
Okay. In the meantime, Uncle Sam, well, let's buy some time real quick. Let's talk about the college football playoff just very briefly. I want to know what you thought about the games this week. I want to know what you think about the outcomes. I want to know now that I think both of our – well, no, I think I had Ohio State in the championship, but both of our contenders are out for the most part. I had Georgia in there as well.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I was surprised Georgia lost.
Yeah, tell me more.
That surprised me more out of anything else. Whoever plays Ohio State's going to get smoked. So,
yeah, I think Ohio State's going to be an extremely tough out. I told you that the other day. They were built for this. Texas has the pros to do it. I don't know if they have the coaching to do it. I'll say this much: their DBs are outstanding, and it's going to be a home game for Texas. So if you really hate Ohio State, now's your shot, because I think if Ohio State makes the championship game, they always mollywop Penn State. It's one of the teams that Ryan Day never loses to, and conversely, James Franklin can almost never beat Ohio State. And Notre Dame's well-rounded. Credit to them. Credit to Notre Dame. I just don't think they have the juice in them. You need to have over 100. Nope. What I'm about to say is completely false.
Check.
Can you guys hear Sam now? Jack Randazzo in the chat wants to know if the guy off camera is Puerto Rican. Sam, can you answer that?
No, I am not Puerto Rican. I can confirm I am not Puerto Rican.
And can you guys hear Sam? We would love to know in the chat if you can hear Sam at the moment. Anyways.
Oh, there we go. We're good. Shout out to Deverin C123. He said he can hear me, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, they're all filing in. Good. Everything. Hello, Anna Hemker. Hello to the whole Hemker family.
All right, can I interject real quick?
Yeah, please.
Because I've been waiting to say this so everybody can hear me.
Yep.
We've reached a milestone. Actually, we've reached a couple milestones. And we need to thank all of these fantastic people that are here with us today for those milestones. Number one, this giveaway, biggest one yet by far. We hit a momentous number. We're up to over 11,500 followers on Instagram now. That's almost, it's like over 4,000 just from this giveaway alone. So thank you to all of you. And the other one, and possibly the biggest of them all, is we have now eclipsed 1,000 total subscribers on YouTube as of today. Shout out to you guys. You're the best fans in the world, and we cannot do this without you.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here.
Talking about college football.
We really can't do this without you. We'd love to interact more with you. We would love to continuously have giveaways. I mean, this is 4 home games in a row. So Sam gave away basically half of the regular season's worth of home games. And on top of that, this is Sam, by the way. It's not Uncle Sam and I who do this. This is Sam who orchestrates this. Sam gets the tickets. Sam gives them away. He basically gave away season tickets this year. So if you listen to us, you have a chance to win. But really, we just want you to interact with us. We want to have fun with you. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to hear your opinions. We want you to tell us our opinions are good or bad. We're happy to have you. Uncle Sam, what do you think?
It's great.
What do you say? You guys want to jump right into the slate? Do you want to just start picking the games? We have 2 of them tomorrow. Do you want to go right there? Or?
There you go.
I would love to. Let's pick some games.
Let's pick some games.
I have another piece of news.
Pardon me?
I have another piece of news I forgot to share with you guys.
Please.
Earlier in the show, you asked me how was New Year's. New Year's was great. Had a nice New Year's. Love to hear about both of your guys'. I know we kind of got a little off track on the how was everybody's days, weeks, years, all that stuff, because of little TDs in the beginning of the show. But I ate a bad lobster tail, and I vomited. It was a tragic event. I was in the car for 45 minutes. I willed myself to not throw up for a 45-minute drive. Made it home, blue chunks everywhere. That was last night. Woke up this morning, threw down a ginger shot and a smoothie, and we're ready to go. Ate a salad for lunch, the most green I've consumed in probably a month, because everybody knows December's a write-off, and we're ready to go. And the energy is at an all-time high. Hopefully Uncle Sam's going to match that energy here at some point, and we're going to not only pick, we have no bye weeks, we have no Thursday night game.
I haven't thrown up on any lobster.
We have no Thursday night game. We have no Monday night game. We have a full slate of weekend games to pick. It's the last regular season game of the year. We have a playoff machine to go through. We got to decide how right or wrong we are, because Monday we'll know. And we're giving away tickets to, I don't know if it's the most important regular season game in my recent memory for the Lions.
Hold on. It's the biggest regular season game in NFL history. It's the only time ever that 2 14-win teams are playing each other, okay? It's the first time since 1993 that 2 teams are meeting for the 1 seed. It was the Giants and the Cowboys in 1993. The Cowboys won the game, went on to win the Super Bowl. The stakes aren't higher in terms of regular season. It cannot get any bigger or badder than what's about to occur at Ford Field on Sunday night. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No interruptions. I agree. This feels as close to this is as close as you can get in the regular season to a full-on playoff game. This is so, I mean, imagine This game decides whether or not we have to go to Philadelphia in a possible NFC Championship game, right? This game decides if you play week 1 of the playoffs or you have to go to if they're the 5 seed, they would
I'll
end
run
up
you
going
through the
to
scenario
either,
right now. If the Rams lose, the Rams clinch the
You have to
4,
go
so
to
the loser
SoFi
of
to-
this
you-
game would go to LA.
You have to go to LA. You have to go to SoFi week 1 to play the Rams, which I know we'd probably raid that stadium. But how there's just something about if the Lions lose this game and have to go to SoFi and play Stafford, that would be like Stafford's swan song 1 revenge game from last year. And that would just be the most heart-wrenching end to this magical season ever. This game for me has the weight of the world on its shoulders. I know we'll pick it towards the end, but I just had to say that. This giveaway is the biggest because this game is the biggest.
I agree. What do you say we pick the games?
Let's go. Saturday.
So for those that don't know, the way the NFL structures the final week of the season is it's all divisional games. That way, if there is a race on the line, they, like Lions-Vikings, they could flex the game in wherever they need to. In this case, they flex the entire AFC North to Saturday because there are some circumstances. Number 1, if the Denver Broncos lose to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins lose to the Jets, then the Bengals get into the playoffs out of nowhere after a 1-4, 1-5 start with the win over the Steelers. And on top of that, with the Steelers loss and a Ravens win, the Ravens clinch the AFC North. So let's start there. The Cleveland Browns are headed to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. The Ravens are 19.5 points favorites. Everyone's playing because the division's on the line. The over-under is 41.5. Uncle Sam, what are you thinking?
I'm taking Baltimore.
Over-under.
I'm going to second that. I'm taking
I'm
Baltimore.
going to say under.
Sam, you're seconding Baltimore. Over-under.
Yeah, and I'm going to take the over. I think Baltimore is going to not just win the division, but make a big statement doing it.
Bailey Zappi is starting for the Cleveland Browns. I think that this is going to be a statement game for the Ravens. It's going to be an audition for, we're going to go into Buffalo and we're going to go into Kansas City and they're going to try and kick their asses in a couple weeks. I think this is Lamar painting what he thinks might be the end, dotting the exclamation point for his MVP candidacy. Big game from him, I think. And I'm also taking the Ravens to win, the Ravens to cover. Give me the over in that one because I think the Ravens are going to score some points. Give me over 41.5. Bruce?
Give me the Ravens.
And the nightcap. That game's at 4:30, by the way. The night game is Cincinnati going to Pittsburgh. Again, there are stakes for this one. If Baltimore wins, they're in. If they lose, Pittsburgh can win the division. On top of that, Cincinnati needs this game. Cincinnati has to win, and then they need some help on Sunday from the Denver Broncos and the Dolphins, as I mentioned, in order to get in. The Bengals are favored by 2.5 points. The over-under is 48.5. T. Higgins and Chase Brown are both banged up. Both are expected to play. As for Pittsburgh, one of the talks of the week is that there's been some dissent in the locker room, maybe some miscommunications between George Pickens and Russ. Of course, they've been banged up for the last couple weeks. Sam, what are you thinking?
I've really lost a lot of faith in Pittsburgh. I do believe the noise that's going on in the locker room. Their last 3 games are their 3 toughest of the year, and they didn't just lose them; they lost them in pretty awful fashion. I think Russ is starting to get exposed. I think you're starting to see why now he wasn't the answer anymore in both places he was at. I don't have nearly as much faith in this Steelers team as I did 2 months ago. With that being said, I don't have a whole lot of faith in this Cincinnati team, but the way that Joe Burrow is playing right now, if this team had 2 or 3 more wins, he would be the front runner for MVP. And I just, for some reason, I think there's a little bit more of this Pittsburgh not playing well over the last month than meets the eye. I'm going to hesitantly take Cincinnati in this game, and I'm going to take the over. Cincinnati's not going to be able to play defense. Their only way they're going to win this game is to outscore Pittsburgh and score on every drive, which Pittsburgh's defense is one of the toughest. But right now, the way that Cincinnati's playing, I think they can go in there and take care of business.
Uncle Sam?
Yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati in the over.
Yes, I'm with both of you. I do still think there's a scenario where Burrow gets the MVP. I think if they win and they do ultimately get in, they get in on the like it's a really crazy story, and they get in on the backs of Joe Burrow. So I think that's very plausible. It would take Josh Allen's playing a couple snaps to keep a start streak alive, and Lamar could be done by the third quarter. So it would take a lot to get there. But I do think that there's a very good shot at it if the Bengals win. So I'm taking the Bengals to win. I'm taking the Bengals to cover. And I'm taking the over because every Bengals game goes over at this point. So I'm rolling with it. Let's move on if you guys don't mind. Sunday at 1 p.m. My fault. The first division we'll talk about on the line is the NFC South, which is still at stake. We have first the Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. Again, the Falcons, their scenario, they don't control their own destiny after that tough loss last week against the Commanders. The Falcons need to win, and they need Tampa to lose. And if they do that, they are in. And they are the 4 seed so long as the Rams don't lose. If the Rams lose, then the Falcons become the 3 seed. So Falcons are favored by 7.5. The over-under is 48.5. Who wants to go?
I'll take it. I'm going to take Atlanta in this one. I don't love the fact that Chuba Hubbard's on IR for them. And I'll be honest, I don't love Atlanta. But in all reality, I think that this is their Super Bowl. They need this to feel good about themselves. The only way I think Atlanta loses this game in Week 18 is if they completely underestimate the Panthers coming in. I think depending on how Michael Penix looks in this game, it'll solidify his future as well as Kirk Cousins. And I think they ultimately win a game that they probably should.
Uncle Sam?
Taking Atlanta in the over.
Yeah, Atlanta in the over. Love Michael Penix. Love what he's done. I think this is going to be a good time for him to spread his wings. Their offense has looked a lot better. Bruce, are you Atlanta? Did we all pick Baltimore and Cincinnati?
Bruce did not.
Bruce is taking the Panthers. Did you take the Bengals or the Steelers?
I'm taking the
Steelers, okay. So the 3 of us are all Ravens, Falcons, Bengals, correct?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes, that's what I have in playoff.
Okay. Let's head over to, I believe it's in Tampa. Let me verify really quickly. You going to the game?
Thought about it. It's going to be nice to see them win the division, but we'll see. TBD.
The New Orleans Saints head to Tampa to take on the Bucs. The Bucs are in with a win. I don't have an injury report handy, but the Bucs are favored by 14.5. The over/under is 43.5. Uncle Sam, what are you thinking?
Yeah, Bucks in the over.
Bruce?
I'll take the Bucks. Give me the Bucks in the over.
I am also going with Tampa. Officially done for the year is a 1 Derek Carr. The Saints have just kind of sloped off since everyone died. I feel bad for them, but the only person ruled out so far for Tampa is Antoine Winfield. Cade Otton is questionable. So they're as close to healthy as they can get. And we love to do props on this show. Something that needs to be highlighted this week is all of the player performance bonuses. We will go over them at the end of the show. That being said, there's been a massive push for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all year for Mike Evans to go over 1,000 yards. Look for a lot of Mike Evans if you like player props this week. Sam, go ahead, pick it.
Yeah, I'm going to take Tampa to win this one in an absolute landslide. I'm going to take the over. I think they'll hit it. Everybody was high on this Condre Miller train. He's out. Kamara's doubtful. The Saints are completely depleted. So give me Tampa in a very, very big win.
Let's head to another division. What do we think of? What do we think of the NFC East as the Commanders head to Dallas, take on the Cowboys. I believe the Commanders lock up the 6, if I remember correctly, if they win. I don't think they need the Packers
Correct.
to lose. We'll go over this in the playoff machine, but either way, let's pick the game. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I'm going to take Washington in this one. What Dallas hasn't played awful football as of late, but Jaden Daniels, a little bit of resurgence here at the end, and I think Washington takes care of business. You know, it looks a lot better for Washington to have to go in and play Tampa or LA than them going in to play Philadelphia for a third time off the rip. So I don't want to say it's not a must win, but it's a very, very important win for them, and I think they take care of business.
Uncle Sam?
You go.
I'm going to go with the Commanders. I think they've heated up over the last couple weeks. I'm going to be pretty chalk this week because it's usually how the last week of the season goes because people try to cement where they are. I think the Commanders are going to prefer to play the LA, Atlanta, Tampa with the 6 seed as opposed to playing the Eagles. So I think there's going to be major incentive to win. So give me the Commanders.
I'll take the Commanders in the over.
Bruce?
Give me the Redskins in the over.
That
If I'm wearing
leaves
the Milwaukee's, I might as well call them the Redskins, you know.
that leaves the Giants heading to Philly to take on the Eagles. The Eagles are only favored by 2.5. You're going to get Tanner McKee again in this one. Jalen Hurts has officially been ruled out. They are resting everyone. They're not going to let Saquon break the rushing record. Do you want to talk about that real quick, Uncle Sam? Do you agree with that
I
decision?
think it's stupid.
Go on.
I think it's stupid. He should be playing. They all should be playing. Stupid.
They are not playing anybody.
What? Yeah,
They are not playing
Their
anybody.
whole offense is not playing, dude.
Well,
You know what? I'm taking
most
the
of-
Giants. I'm taking the Giants, and I'm taking the over.
Yeah, I could see a scenario where the Giants pull this one off. The Eagles are locked into the 2 seed at this point. That's not going to change. And on top of that, I just love how the Giants' skill position players have played over the last couple of weeks. I know you do as well. Malik Neighbors has looked so good. I can see a scenario where the Giants win this one just because they're so good at sabotaging their draft position. That being said, I think they are now cognizant over the fact that they sabotaged their draft position. So give me the Eagles in this one. Sam?
Shockingly enough, even though they may be aware of the fact that they are tanking their draft position, they're going to continue to tank their draft position with the help of Nick Sirianni. Because if you look at the injury report, not only is the whole offense sitting, Jalen Carter's not playing, Nakobe Dean's not playing, Darius Slay is not playing. It just keeps going. Their entire team is sitting. The Giants win a game that they shouldn't, and Philadelphia helps the Giants guarantee that they're not going to be able to pick a decent quarterback.
Bruce?
I don't even know, dude. It's a battle of who can just lose. Give me the Giants. Give me the Giants.
Wow. With apologies to everyone right now for picking the Eagles. That crosses that division out. Let's head west, right? Got NFC West left to do. These games are they all 4:00 games? They are. They're all 4:25 games. First one is Seattle heads to LA to take on the Rams. The Rams are resting everybody. They've clinched the division. The only thing at stake is seeding. The Bucks get it with a win and a Rams loss, so they could lose the 3 and go down to the 4. The Seahawks are favored by 6.5. Like I said, they're resting every single player. Over/under is 38.5. I'll go first. I will bite on this. I will take Seattle. I think Seattle ultimately wins. I think they ultimately cover. And I'm going to go with the 38.5. It's tough without the skill players. I'm going to go with the over on this one. At some point when we're done picking these games, I want to run through the entire list of incentives for you guys.
Same team. I put 9 up last week.
The Seattle?
Yeah.
The whole game. They only put 6 up last week.
thought it was 9.
63.
I thought it was 9-6 or 9-3. Yeah.
You know what? Real quick, I want to backtrack real quick. I'm going to go over the incentives for the games that we've already picked. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
So Baltimore, if Kyle Van Noy gets a half sack, he gets an extra $250,000. Justice Hill, this is unlikely. If he gets 8+ receptions, he gets $250,000. Cincinnati, if Mike Gesicki, this is an easy one. Mike Gesicki's yards over. If Mike Gesicki gets over 3 receiving yards, he gets $125,000. Dallas, if Linval Joseph gets 1+ sack, he gets $100,000.
There's one in here that I love, and I'm betting on.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I
Very happy.
promise. Seattle, if Geno Smith gets 185+ passing yards, he gets an extra $2 million. So go on Geno Smith's yards over, passing yards over. I could totally see that one happening. Lots of Jackson Smith and Jigba if you want to throw him in as well. Tampa, we talked about Mike Evans. If he gets 5+ receptions and 85+ receiving yards, he gets $3 million. And again, he's going for his, I think, 11th or 12th straight 1,000-yard season.
The lock.
And then last, in Washington, Doris Armstrong, 1+ sack is $250,000. Dante Fowler over a half sack is $375,000. Zach Ertz, 9+ receptions, 90+ receiving yards, 2+ receiving touchdowns. He's not going to get all 3 of those. I could see him getting 1. But if you want to parlay him, he gets an extra $750,000 if he hits all those. It's $250K per bonus there. And then again, I will keep referencing this chart as we pick the games. What's
My
the one
two
that you
favorite-
like that I talked over you?
My 2 favorite, without question, are the Geno Smith one and the Mike Evans, 5 receptions and 85 yards. I book that all day long. Book it.
I agree with you. That being said,
We're still at the Rams Seattle.
yeah, so I'm picking Seattle in that one. Go ahead, guys. You pick it.
I'm going to take the Rams. I get it. Garoppolo's starting, and they're benching all of their skill players and whatever. What I saw out of Seattle as of late, offensively, I'm very shaky. I'm going to say this much. Even though the Rams are benching everybody, if I'm them, I don't want to host Detroit or Minnesota. So if they win, they're in that 3 seed, regardless of what Tampa does. I get it. They're benching everybody, but I think they're still going to play with a lot of tenacity. A lot of those young defenders are still going to play. Geno Smith's going to be given fits, and I think that LA wins a very close game to hold on to the 3 seed so they do not have to host the loser of the NFC North.
Uncle Sam?
Yeah, I'm taking Seattle in the over.
Bruce? When we do playoff machine, that one affects how we pick because if there's a split Rams, then they move on, but we'll talk about that later. The other NFC West game, the 49ers head to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. The Cardinals are favored by 4.5, over under 42.5. Obviously, Brock Purdy's out. We didn't talk about Monday Night Football, by the way, but that's a story for another time. Brock Purdy is out. Some other, I don't even know who's left at running. Is it still Garendo? I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if guys like Kittle and all them play, but I think this is a big game for the Cardinals to try and prove themselves. I think the Cardinals are going to win. I think the Cardinals are going to cover the 4.5 and give me the over 42.5 because we got some weak defenses, porous defenses in this one.
If Purdy's out, who starts? Who's playing? Who's quarterback?
I think Brandon Allen again.
Yeah.
Who?
Brandon Allen or
Brandon
some
Allen.
shit.
Yeah. Give me the Cardinals in the over.
I'm going to take Frisco in the over in this one. I think that it's Josh Dobbs is the starter for the 49ers, Josh Dobbs.
Oh, Josh Dobbs. Okay.
I'm going to take Frisco. Meaningless game.
You have the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Bruce?
No.
We'll go over it at the end. It's not hard. Cardinals or 49ers, Bruce?
Give me the 49ers.
Wow, we're split on those two. Incentives for that game: Kyler Murray, 50+ rushing yards and 1+ rushing touchdown, $750,000. You can go ahead and parlay that if you're allowed to.
That fucker's going to have his best game of the year.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Zaven Collins, 1 sack is $300K. Nothing for San Francisco. Did I already do Seattle? I did do Seattle. Okay, moving on. I believe that wraps up the NFC other than our division. So let's do the rest of the AFC. How about Texans at Titans? The Texans are the Titans are favored by 1.5. The over-under is 36.5. I assume everyone is sitting for Houston, Stroud and all them. Not like it matters. They haven't played well. Will Levis is starting for the Titans, but supposedly he's going to split the snaps with Mason Rudolph. Uncle Sam, do you want to pick that one?
Give me the Titans. Titans in the under.
I am also going to go the Titans. Sam?
I'm going to take Houston in this one. Important game for them to win at the end of the year to get a little bit of momentum going in. And I think that Joe Mixon, monster game for him. And I think Houston ends the year with a win. I don't care who plays quarterback for Tennessee. I'm not there on them.
Bruce? You're just splitting us on purpose.
No, I'm not. I'm actually agreeing with my pick.
The incentives to back up what Sam said: Joe Mixon is 107+ rushing yards away from $250,000. And the Titans have a couple big ones. Tony Pollard is 83 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. So $250,000 for 83 rushing yards, $200,000 for 2 rushing touchdowns. And then defensively, if you care, Kenneth Murray, 0.5 sacks. He gets $250K. Arden Key, 1.5 sacks, gets $500K. Sticking in that division, the Jags go on to Indianapolis to take the Colts. Another meaningless game. Anthony Richardson has been ruled out with back and foot injury, so you're going to get Joe Flacco. Wonder if it's the last game he ever plays. As for Jacksonville, my boy Brian Thomas has been on a bit of a tear, but the Colts are favored by 4.5 points. The over-under is 43.5. Bruce, why don't you pick this one first? Jags, Colts. Colts are favored by 4.5. It's in Indianapolis. I don't know if the roof is going to be open.
I'm gonna take the Jaguars. Jags.
I am also going to go with the Jags. Uncle Sam?
Yeah, I'm taking Jacksonville. I like them this week.
I think they can win without absolutely murdering their draft position, but that's at stake for Jacksonville. Sam?
Give me Jacksonville and the over in this game. Jaguars get a big win here at the end of the year in division.
It would take a spectacular display of tanking for the Jags to choke this one.
Yeah, I agree.
And obviously display of tanking.
Moving on, we'll head to Foxborough, Sam's former second favorite home. The Patriots are 3-point underdogs against the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are resting most of their starters. Josh Allen is playing at the beginning of the game to keep his snap streak alive. Drake May is questionable. A lot at stake here for the Patriots. They're currently the number 1 pick. That being said, this is always a lame situation because they need the draft pick. They would do well with Travis Hunter or whoever they take, an offensive lineman, whoever it may be. But they have a coach that's coaching for his job, so it completely changes the decision-making. It's like when the Lions took Jeff Okudah at 3 when they should not have taken Jeff Okudah at 3 back in 2020. So what do you guys think? The Patriots pushed him. It was a 1-score game 2 weeks ago when they played. The Bills don't need it. They're locked into the 2. The Patriots, in my opinion, need to lose. What do you guys think?
No Drake May, they're done.
I agree with that.
No Drake May, they're done. Buffalo. Give me Buffalo and whoever they put on the field.
I'm seconding that. Buffalo and whoever they put on the field. I personally think that Mike Vrabel will be the head coach of the New England Patriots next year, and they'll be able to take that number 1 pick and sell it off to the highest bidder and still get Travis Hunter. So I'm going to take Buffalo in this one because I think the fates of New England is already sealed.
I am also going to go with the Bills. I think the Bills' backups will have a better shot of taking down the Patriots starters, and I don't know what's. I wonder what's going on behind the scenes for that organization because Gerard Mayo needs this win, but the franchise does not need this win. It's a really crazy.
I think Gerard Mayo's fate is already sealed, personally. But.
The Jets did interview Vrabel today, and they let him leave the facility, which was very stupid because he's going to go to 2 other jobs. Bruce, yep. Bills or Patriots?
Give me the Bills.
We're unanimous there. The other game in the AFC East. As soon as I can find it, we will see what is going on with the Dolphins and Jets. Oh, that's a late game somehow. Interesting. So the Jets are favored by 1.5 points. They are -1.5. The over-under is 38.5. Tua has been ruled out with the hip injury. If they make the playoffs, there's question marks there. Tyreek Hill is questionable, I believe. On the Jets side of things, you just got a bunch of bad hombres that they don't want to play. This could be Aaron Rodgers' last professional game in the National Football League.
Yep.
Sam, go ahead. You pick it first.
Couple other things I want to say here. There is a scenario where this game does matter for Miami. Even with a Bengals win over the Steelers, Miami still takes that 7th seed over Cincinnati if Denver loses. Miami still has the first jump over Cincinnati. So even if Cincinnati wins, they need both Miami and Denver to lose to get in.
Go ahead, pick it.
With that being said, I'm going to take the Dolphins, and I do agree that I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers' last NFL game. I just think that a close game against Miami at MetLife and they lose caps off a really, really shitty year for the Jets, and with not a lot of answers. If Tua doesn't play, maybe the Jets win a field goal game, but I think ultimately Tua does play, Tariq plays, and it could also, if Cincinnati does lose that game, they're just still waiting on Denver. So I'm going to take Miami. Wouldn't be shocked to see if the Jets pull it off. I think it's going to be a close game and a dumpster fire. Take the under in this all day. But yeah, I think the bigger story from this one is going to be this is Aaron Rodgers' swan song.
Uncle Sam?
Jets. Jets in the over.
Aaron Rodgers isn't going to lose his swan song. I'm going with the Jets. Bruce? Really quick, a couple orders of business. I've been very bad about referencing this chart. So in Buffalo and New England, Von Miller needs 1 sack for $1.5 million. Taron Johnson needs 1+ interception for $250,000. Dawson Knox needs 8 receptions and 89 receiving yards for $200,000. Daquan Jones needs 0.5 sacks for $250,000.
You know, I think some of these things are not.
Some are doable, some aren't.
Some are doable. I just don't think they're already millionaires, man. And you're playing for a couple $100,000. I don't know. That's enough motivation for these guys these days, this day and age. Back in the day, I would say yeah, but now I don't know.
In the Colts-Jags game, Tyquan Lewis needs 1.5 sacks for $100K. Miami, Tyrell Dodson, I don't even know who that is, needs a sack for $300,000. Emmanuel Ogbah needs 1.5 sacks for $500,000. And future Lion Calais Campbell needs 1 sack for $300,000.
Future Lion.
Yeah, they're going to release him if they lose. You know that, right? Tyler Conklin for the Jets needs 1 reception for $250K. That's a good one. That's one you could circle.
Love that one.
That's one you could circle. Javon Kinlaw needs 0.5 sacks for $250K. Yeah, we're caught up in that regard. And I want to go over to the TikTok because Bruce, our old friends Jacqueline and Amy Lynn are
Bruce.
wondering why you haven't taken Jacqueline out, why you have not responded to any of her date requests. This is getting bizarre. We're running out of time here, and I think you're going to blow it with the sure thing.
I got the answer to all this. Bruce
Please.
does not like women.
Oh, good one. Shit going on, man.
He'd rather have a nice
Got shit
set
going
of
on.
nuts.
Shout out to Inez and Baldo. Some of our friends on TikTok. Good to see you, Gabe. Good to see you. Like I mentioned, Amy, Lynn, and Jacqueline. Shout out to Brendan and Danny. I know you guys are on vacation. We appreciate all that you do. Who else in here in TikTok? And then I want to move over to the YouTube, Sam, if you want to mod that for a second. Do you have it up by any chance?
I do.
Please, shout out to our friends.
Oh, we got shout out to Dark Human back up in the chat today. There's a lot of you guys in here today.
Yeah, I
Thank
was
you all
beginning
for
to worry
being here.
about him. I didn't know if he, blew his brains out or something.
No, this is Cumin, not Lumen.
Oh,
This is Cumin, yeah. WWBC's been in the chat all day today. Shout out to all you guys. Lucas, there's been a lot of you that out here partying with us all day today. I love the fact that you guys are sharing your picks with us too. That makes me very happy. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. I am reading them as they come up, so it's not like you're giving us your opinion and they're being ignored. Love to hear from you guys, and thank you for every single one of you for being in here today. We're going to do the giveaway here pretty shortly. A couple more games to get through, and then we are giving away some tickets.
Yeah, shout out to all of you on YouTube. Shout out to the O-Laws. I know you're watching at home. Shout out to Carl G. Big weekend for the Ravens. Shout out to Z in the chat. Good to have all you guys here. Anyways, let's move on. How about we're running out of divisions here. Wait, what did I do? I put Dolphins at Jets in the wrong spot. My fault. The Chargers head to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. The Raiders are 4.5-point underdogs at home. The over-under is 40.5. Before we pick it, I'm going to do the incentives this time. Christian Fulton is 1 interception away for $125K. J.K. Dobbins, 58 rushing yards for $150K. You can hammer that one. That's a good one. If he plays, of course.
I thought he was done.
And then, here, let me see.
No, Dobbins played last week.
What?
Yep. He's playing.
Oh,
He's playing. He's not officially out.
not know that.
And then Bud Dupree is 1 sack away from $250K for the Raiders. Alexander Madison needs 8 receptions for $125K. Can they line him up at receiver? That is the question. Sam, why don't you go ahead and pick this one?
This one's easy for me. Harbaugh wants to go into Houston week 1 and play them. He does not want a repeat of the Harbaugh. With that being said, the Chargers win this game, and they go on to play Houston the following week. Raiders are a disaster, but whatever. Bet everything on Brock Bowers and just cheer for the Chargers, because Chargers might just become a team of destiny here pretty quick.
Uncle Sam?
Taking Raiders. Raiders in the over.
I am going to go with the Chargers. I'm going to pick the Chargers, and if Dobbins plays, I'm hammering that 60-plus yards over. That could be a lot of fun. I do think the Raiders backdoor cover, and give me the under. When these teams play in their respective, not even playing each other, but when they play in general, the under tends to hit a lot. Bruce?
Give me the Chargers. I don't know who in there right now would pick the Raiders in this game.
So, Sam, you were Chargers, right?
Yes.
And
For the
Uncle
record,
Sam-
Dobbins played last week against New England and had a pretty decent game.
So we're Raiders, Chargers. I'm going to mix it up
I hate
real
you
quick.
more than Jim Harbaugh. How about that, you asshole?
I'm gonna mix it up real quick because I want to pick Chiefs-Broncos second to last because it's actually a big game. Let's head to Lambeau where the Bears. When was the last time the Bears won at Lambeau? Can someone look that up?
I was glad.
The Packers are favored by 10.5. The over-under is 41.5. There is a scenario where the Packers win and can clinch the 6th seed. We'll go over all the scenarios on Playoff Machine, but there is incentive for the Packers to play. I don't think they're resting anyone as of now. And in terms of the incentives, well, would you look at that? There are no incentives tied to this game. Uncle Sam, why don't you go ahead?
Give me the Pack.
Sam?
Last time the Bears won at Lambeau Field was December 16th of 2018. And with that being said, I am taking the Pack as well.
I am riding the Packers train as well. I don't think they're as bad as they were last week. Nothing screams sweet redemption quite like taking on the Chicago Bears at home in Week 18. I do think we get to Malik Willis later on in the game. I'm a little bit higher on Caleb Williams than a lot of people are in this room, but he had a good year, but I don't think he's good enough to go into Lambeau and win. And this might be an audition for a guy like Keenan Allen to get a better job and a bigger contract next year. So I do like Caleb Williams to have a good game from a passing perspective, but I like the Packers to ultimately win. Bruce, Packers or Bears? The second biggest game on Sunday is in Denver. I don't know what they're calling that field these days because it's changed names so many times since it was Sports Authority Field at Mile High. But the Chiefs are taking on the Broncos. They are not starting Patrick Mahomes. Some guys are coming back for the Chiefs, but no one really notable. The Broncos control their own destiny. If they win, they are in. This is the biggest game on Sunday. The two games on Saturday are also big for AFC playoff seeding. And then Jets-Dolphins, of course, obviously has implications as well. The Broncos are favored by 10.5 points. The over-under is 40.5. The incentives, Cortland Sutton needs 82 receiving yards for $2 million. I'm going to go ahead and hammer that one. I think that happens, especially if Trent McDuffie doesn't play. Cody Barton needs 1 interception for $250K. For Kansas City, DeAndre Hopkins, 2 separate ones, 9 receptions for $250K and 140 receiving yards for $250K. I don't know if he is playing. If he is, I do love that 9 receptions. I don't love the 140 receiving yards, though. Uncle Sam.
I'll take Denver. Denver and the under.
Sam?
I'm going to take Kansas City in this one, and I'm going to take the under as well.
I am going with the Broncos. They should have won the first time. They didn't. I think they're going to win this time with all that on the line. That 10.5 points seems a little bit.
Mahomes.
That 10.5 points seems a little bit like a trap. That being said, I could see a scenario where our old friend Carson Wentz might cover the spread, but it's not going to happen. In terms of a win, give me the Broncos to win. I think the Broncos ultimately get that 7 seed. They go to Buffalo week 1. That should be a really good game as Bo Nix takes on Josh Allen on the road. And I like the under in that one. Bruce, Broncos, Chiefs. That's it, just the Broncos? Before we get to Lions and Vikings, really quick, Blake Cashman, 0.5 sacks for $250K for Minnesota. The Lions and Darius Smith needs 2+ sacks for $250K. He is playing his former team. The over-under in this game, well, I'm shocked the Lions are favored. We'll get to that in a second. The over-under makes a little bit of sense. They think that
Because they're at home.
Yeah, I guess.
They're at home.
I guess.
It's the only reason why they're 2-point favorite.
The over-under is 56.5. That's got to be one of the highest ones this year. And the Lions are favored by 2.5. Sunday, Ford Field. We've had games like this before. In 2014, the Lions had to go to Green Bay to try and win the division. They lost. In 2017, the 2016 season, January 1st, 2017, they hosted Green Bay at home to win the division. They were still going to the playoffs. They ultimately lost that one. So the last 2 times the Lions have played in a winner-take-all game for the NFC North, they lost. One at home, one on the road. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, this is the First time since 1993, so 31 years. Bruce, you weren't even alive. You weren't even a thought then. Uncle Sam had a full head of hair. There wasn't gray in his beard. And Sam, you weren't alive either, were you? 1993.
No, sir.
That was the last time that two teams met in weeks at the time. It was probably week 16 or 17 with the division on the line. Or excuse me, with the 1 seed on the line. Like I mentioned before, the Dallas Cowboys won that game. They went on to win the Super Bowl. What's at stake for the Lions? Well, they would sweep 3 different divisions. They would be 6-0 in their own division. They would host the NFC divisional round like they did last year, but if they win that, they would host the NFC championship game as well, the 1 seed. This is what they've been fighting for all year. For the Minnesota Vikings, you're trying to play spoiler, but you're also trying to complete the dream season, which is exceeding 6.5 wins and turning it into a 1 seed. There's so much we could say about both of these teams. They met back in week 6? The Lions handed them their first loss of the year. They lost the next week as well to the Rams. I believe that was on the road, which is coincidence because that's who they could end up playing in the first round of the playoffs if they end up losing. But then the Vikings haven't lost a game since. It's been 2 months since they've lost a game. They've been that good. Sam Darnold, if it wasn't for the 3 AFC quarterbacks, would be a surefire MVP candidate. So would Jared Goff. There's so much we can say. Sam, where do you want to start on this one?
I will gladly start out picking this one. What can you say? The Lions, this has been a magical year for them. The Vikings have kind of been overlooked the whole time with the exact same record. And I don't want to say as impressive wins because I don't think the Vikings wins have been as impressive as the Lions, but kind of overlooked this entire season. For me, I've said that this Vikings team is not as good as their record shows for months now, and that's not just based off of a Lions bias. I just don't think they are as good as their record shows. And Sam Darnold has had a very, very nice year, MVP caliber year. This Lions team is truly the first time we've ever seen the Lions be this great, be this good. The way Dan Campbell has these guys playing right now, the way he coaches them up, I can't imagine that this team programmed the way they are, playing the way they are, with the aura that's going on inside of that building right now, I cannot imagine a situation where they lose this game that has the weight of the world on its shoulders and let down this season. Let this season just be remembered as, oh yeah, it was great, but this is how it ended. I can't imagine that happening. They should be getting Anzalone back. I'm pretty sure he's playing. I think he makes a huge difference off the rip just because I know the linebackers have been iffy in coverages of running backs and tight ends and all the above. We saw that against Buffalo, but I can't imagine a scenario where the Lions lose this game. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think you're going to be on the edge of your seat the entire night, but I think ultimately the Lions pull this one off in a very close fashion. They win, and this season is the season. Because if they lose this game, 14-2 was great, but you're a 5 seed, and you're going on the road, and all the above. The stars are going to align. They will host an NFC championship game at Ford Field because they will do exactly just what they need to do, just enough to win this game. I see a huge game out of J-Mo. I see a huge game out of Gibbs, and I think the defense puts together a game plan that is able to contain Sam Darnold just enough to win this game.
Before you pick an Uncle Sam, can we do the injury report real quick?
Go ahead.
For the Vikings, linebacker Patrick Jones, who I believe something happened to him against the Packers. He got knocked out. Was it a special teams? I don't know, but he has a knee injury. He didn't practice all week. He is out. Camu Grugier-Hill, the other linebacker, is questionable. Fabian Moreau, a quarterback, is questionable, which is interesting because Stephon Gilmore, he usually gets a a day off here and there. He's going to play, but he's been a little banged up lately. Aaron Jones, who had a quad contusion, if I remember correctly, he was limited all week, was a full practice today. He is off the injury report, but something to keep in mind if he can't run at 100%. Everyone else who had days off this week, CJ Ham, Harrison Smith, Josh Oliver, and Ed Ingram are all slated to play as of now. On the Lions side of things, remember, this is the active roster. We're not going to talk about the other 10 guys that are sitting on IR, but David Montgomery is obviously out. Emmanuel Mosley didn't practice all week with some sort of illness. He has been ruled out. I don't know if it matters much because he hasn't really played since he's been back. Alex Anzalone was a full yesterday and a full today. It sounds like he has some sort of apparatus on his arm. They're calling him questionable. That's gamesmanship. Alex Anzalone is going to play in this game. Khalif Raymond was a full all week, and he practiced last week. He is a questionable. My guess is he plays because the Lions waived Tom Kennedy, which means that their kick returner is back. Craig Reynolds was a full practice Wednesday and Thursday. He didn't practice today. That being said, he's questionable. I don't know. That one kind of matters, but we'll see. Christian Mahogany had an illness. He's back today. He'll play. Jack Campbell was limited on Wednesday. He will play. Amik Robinson was limited on Wednesday. He's had 2 straight full practices. He will play. Uncle Sam, what are your thoughts on this game?
I'm taking the Vikings in the over.
Tell us more.
I've got to hear why. I need an explanation.
Excuse me?
I got to have an explanation.
The explanation is real simple. They're finally going to face a decent defense, and they can't continue to go on the pace of putting 40 points up per game. And I think this is the game you're going to see it in. And then they're going to have to go on the road for the playoffs, which is probably better for them, to be honest with you.
I've thought about that. It might be.
It might be better that they're on the road. I don't like them having a bye week. High school Anzalone ain't going to make a difference. The defense is just depleted. And, it just – you saw it last week against the 49er team that's garbage. They got torched. Offensively, they got torched. Okay? The only thing that saved that game for them was the 2 picks. That's it.
Every fiber in my being – I didn't know who I was going to pick before we got here, but every fiber in my being wanted to agree with Uncle Sam. Number one, I just don't like to jinx the Lions at this point. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't matter, though.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, we know you hope you're wrong. That just for all the people in the chat or they've never been here before, just because he picked the Vikings doesn't mean he's rooting against the Lions. He's just picking with his head, and that's a smart thing to do. It's every indicator, every metric, even if the Lions are a significantly better team, and they are, especially when their defense is healthy, they're a better team. And if these teams play each other in a couple weeks, I don't care where it is, I think the Lions are winning that game.
If they didn't lose all them guys on the defense right now, they'd be in the Super Bowl, period.
There you go. You heard it from the man himself. Every metric, it's just so tough. I agree. There's a scenario where they get carved up. They get carved up so bad, and Jefferson ends up with 200 yards, and Terry and Arnold gets laughed off the field, and Addison has another 200 yards, and Hawkinson gets his redemption.
Yep.
There's a scenario. There's one saving grace that I will say. I disagree on the high school Anzalone not making a difference. I think Alex Anzalone,
he hasn't played in a long time.
I think Alex Anzalone makes the world of difference because he is their best coverage linebacker. And what you're losing with him if he has something on his arm, tackling ability isn't great. If he's got to greet a runner in the gap or if he has to take on a tight end in the flat.
He
never does it anyways.
He doesn't play downhill.
What you missed against the Buffalo Bills when what's his name? Johnson. What's his name? Whoever it was, whether it was Cook or Johnson, Ty Johnson, whoever, when they were busting out in the flat, you were missing a linebacker that could go out and cover them athletically. Alex Anzalone didn't have a lower body injury. He had an upper body injury. He's been working out. He's been running. I think for that reason, all you need him to do is go out and cover Aaron Jones, to go out and cover Hawkinson. And it's going to make a world of difference if you can take that option away in the middle of the field, because that's where Sam Darnold carves you up. He carves you up between the numbers. Even if you look at all the catches from Addison and Jefferson, yeah, once in a while you get him on a post streaking downfield. But for the most part, they get you with yards after catch in the middle of the field. And I think that the Lions' defensive game plan is to take away the middle of the field. It worked when they met the first time around. On top of that, the game on Monday, which we didn't talk about, it changed when Aaron Glenn started blitzing Brock Purdy in the second half. The game completely changed. They went from a 0% blitz rate to about a 30% blitz rate. Darnold is a better thrower, in my opinion, than Brock Purdy, but he's not as athletic as Brock Purdy. If you can flush him out of the pocket and hold your blocks and make Darnold make a bad decision, good things will come. I trust Aaron Glenn in this game. I think the defense will be a little healthier. You will know early. You will know if this game gets out of hand early, because if the Lions don't manage a stop in the first quarter, bad things are going to come. It's going to be one of those pissing contest shootouts, and I don't know how good I feel about them getting a stop later in the game. But I do think that they are going to be the more prepared team. I think that they are going to be ready to go. And on top of that, I think this offense is just clicking on another level. And even if the defense does fold, I think that the offense is here for this game. I think they're going to carry their weight. And I want to bring up a quote and just remind you guys of something from Dan Campbell back in 2022. When he said, "What are we? What makes us what we are, what we're going to be?" I think it's right there. It's grit. It's grit. And what does it mean? In a nutshell, I think it means we'll go a little bit longer, we'll go a little bit harder, and we'll think a little deeper and a little sharper. It means we're unbreakable. Like, to me, it means we'll play you anywhere. We'll play you on grass. We'll play you on turf. We'll go to a fucking landfill. It doesn't matter. And that's the way we got to be. That's who we have to be, because we'll tread water as long as it takes to fucking bury you. This is their tread water game. This was their year. This was their goal. They hold the cards. They know that if they hold the cards in this game, that they will hold the cards in the playoff. This is treading water. The Vikings have been treading water all year and playing on thin ice all year. They've lucked out. They're 9-1 in one-score games. Their one loss is to the Lions at home. I think that the Lions are not going to fold in this game. I think the Vikings were not meant to win this game. This was our year. This is destiny. This is destiny. And if you're going to win these tickets right now and you're in this crowd, you make sure you make endless noise and you leave it all out there. No one gives a shit how you sound at work on Monday. You will be the difference in this game, because no one's going to know what hits them. And Ford Field is going to be the star of the show Sunday night. The Lions win this game 38-31.
And I'll pick
You're
for
not
Bruce.
muted, are
Bruce
you?
picking the Lions.
I thought
Bruce
you were
picking
muted
the
for a second.
Lions. Bruce is picking the Lions, isn't he?
I'm taking the line.
Attaway, there it is. Woo! All right, do we have a playoff machine done now that we can go over real quick here?
Yeah.
Because I got it done. I got one done on my end here. I know it's not going to help you guys much over there, but I got the playoff machine ready to go here. There it is, Bruce. Oh, that's a beautiful thing, isn't it? That's a beautiful thing. So I guess we'll go through some scenarios here. Obviously, Detroit and Kansas City get the bye. Green Bay does indeed have to go to Philadelphia. Washington going to the Rams.
That's a fun game.
Minnesota heading to Tampa. Those are all really, really, really interesting games.
That's no gimme, Minnesota going to Tampa.
What are we, Bruce? Are you keep moving that thing around because you want us to pick splits?
Yes.
All right, it's Houston. Okay, come on. And then that one, it goes either way. It doesn't really matter. But I mean, I think, yeah. No, it does matter because you just swapped. No. Wait, give the Seahawks the win? That does matter.
It does matter.
No, wait, that shouldn't. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
it matters.
It does. Sorry, I can't see that far. I'm looking at the delayed YouTube.
Who's the favorite? Is Seattle a favorite?
Seattle is favored against the Rams. The Rams are
Give it to
benching
Seattle.
everyone. Every single player is benched for the Rams.
Give it to Seattle. Because realistically, if that's the way the NFC pans out, I think that gives you your best matchups. That gives you your best matchups. Because the first thing I think of when I see that is I see that young, strong defense from LA giving Darnold fits. I see Jaden Daniels' inexperience versus Baker Mayfield just being able to pull off magic all year with Mike Evans and with Washington not having any corners.
That could be a great game right there.
So the Lions would be guaranteed to go to LA, correct? If they lost?
If they lost, yes. If it pans out this way, right now, Philadelphia coming off of essentially a week rest for everybody. If Hurts is healthy, I think Philadelphia takes Green Bay. I think the Tampa-Washington game is a fantastic game, but ultimately Washington's defense is going to be able to stop Tampa, and I would give that to Tampa. And I think Minnesota goes on the road and wins a very, very close one in Los Angeles.
So just to be clear, if the Rams win, they clinch the 3, right?
Correct.
So that's scenario number 1. The Rams clinch, they clinch the 3. Number 2, the Bucs lose and the Falcons win, they clinch the 4. The Falcons clinch the 4. Or if the Rams win, Tampa gets the 4.
Correct.
No matter what, if the Commanders win, they clinch the 6, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then on the left side, Denver's in if they win. And
Denver wins in.
If they lose, then it could be Bengals, or if the Bengals and Dolphins both win, Dolphins win, Dolphins get in. If only the Bengals win and Denver and Miami loses, then the Bengals get in. And they're no matter what the 7. So the seeding is the Texans are locked into the 4.
Buffalo's locked into 2.
The Ravens are locked into the 3 with the win.
Correct.
They need to win. Oh, no, wait. No, they don't need to win. The Ravens that won the division, right? No. If the Ravens lose and the Steelers win the division. That's that scenario. In which case,
big. That's a big game.
That's a big game. Both of those games Saturday are big.
Both games tomorrow are
big. And then Jim Harbaugh goes against C.J. Stroud in this scenario. But if my math is correct, if the Ravens don't win the division, then they would clinch the 5, which means that the Chargers. There's a scenario where we get a Harbaugh, and there's a scenario where we get the Chargers going back to Pittsburgh as well.
Correct.
Both of those exist.
Indeed. Out of these 6 games, right now, if it pans out exactly the way we have it, what game would you be most excited to see?
I can't pick. In the NFC, all of those games are awesome. I guess the obvious choice would be, really, you would be getting 6 really good Week 1 playoff games. You get Steelers-Ravens, bonus Steelers-Ravens, which would be fun. I agree that Chargers-Tampa could be a toss-up with the way the guys are playing right now. Minnesota-LA, that's a rematch. The Vikings lost the first one. But that's another teacher versus student. That's Kevin O'Connell going against the Rams. And then you have a Week 1 rematch of a really good game between the Packers and Eagles. Obviously, that's not as fun if Jalen Hurts doesn't play, but he should play, right? And the Packers have the juice to win in Philly, in my opinion. They just haven't looked good, but there's some really good games on that slate. What's your favorite?
I'll tell you what, dude. I would love to see the Lions have to go to SoFi.
It'd be a home game.
I would love to see that.
That'd be a home game for the Lions. I don't know if they can beat the Rams. That would be the Lions at LA or at Tampa. You would have a lot of Lions fans at both of those games, which would be a lot of fun.
I would rather see them play LA than Tampa. I think Tampa's a little too much for them.
I'm the other way around. I think Tampa, if they lose to the Vikings in the fashion that you think they're going to lose in, then who do the Vikings model their offense after? It's the Rams. Two good receivers and a running game. So
Yeah,
you'd be in a shootout.
That's Tampa too.
Out of all 6 games, my favorite one to see would be Green Bay at Philadelphia, and my least favorite would be Denver at Buffalo.
I think that Denver Buffalo game could be really good.
Yeah, no, I disagree, Sam. I think Denver Buffalo could be really good.
Toss up.
Denver has the
Yeah.
defense to make Josh Allen's life a living hell, and they do just enough offensively, right? Like imagine Bo Nix going against that
Listen,
defense
Bo
that
Nix
gives up 40
impressed the
points.
Shit out of me last
Hell
week,
yeah.
dude. That to me, I thought that was one of the best performances I've seen from a rookie in a long time.
And Denver's built for the cold too.
Yeah.
Denver can go into the cold and win. I think that would be really sexy. But if
Hey,
Buffalo's
Bruce.
as good as you think they are, then it would be bad.
I like games being played outside. I think that's how it should be.
Bruce, give the Vikings the win.
Basically, we're Rams fans. I don't want to
Give
play
the Rams a
I-
win.
I would rather play Tampa. So we're Rams fans on Sunday.
Give the Rams a win.
There you go. They got to go to.
Yes, I agree with you because that's worst case scenario right there.
So number one, we're Rams fans. Well, no, there's also that doomsday scenario where Atlanta gets in, and I would love that. And the 4 of us
Yeah,
are going to
that'd
go
be
to
cool.
that game in Atlanta if that's what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Well, should we give away some tickets or what?
By all means.
I think now is the time. Couple things before we do give away the tickets. We'll be back again on Friday to preview all of these games that we're sitting here talking about now. Oh no, wait a second. What day is today?
Today's
Today is
Friday.
We'll be back Monday. I'm sorry. We'll be back Monday to rehash the weekend and discuss everything that went down. And hopefully the Lions pick up a big win. And then we get to hear about these guys who are going to the game. We're going to give away tickets right now. We want to hear back from you guys. Some of you I did see in the chat today. Like I said, how we always do this, it is randomly generated. There was over 15,000 entries. 15,000. Took the computer a long time to pick the winners. I know I said we were going to give away 2 sets of 2 tickets. I lied. Per usual, we're going to give away an extra set, so we're going to give away 3 sets of 2 tickets. So, without further ado, I have them all right here. The first one off of Instagram. And listen, I'll know if you're in here because you got to send me a message immediately. I need the email address. DM us on whichever platform I'm telling you won on, and we're going to send you the tickets within a matter of minutes. So, first winner, 2 sets of 2 tickets is none other than our good friend Zachary Wilkes on Instagram. His @ is Zachary0917, @ Zachary0917. You are winner number 1. Winner number 2 off of TikTok is none other than Mr. Michael Carrier @ Michael Carrier 97. You are the second winner. So shout out to Michael. His bio is just doing husband shit per usual. So shout out to you. Hopefully taking a kid, all the above. Our third one is off of Instagram. It's Megan with an HN. Her @ is one and only Blondie. It's Megan N off Instagram. Those are the 3 winners. So again, it's Zachary Wilkes @ Zachary0917, Michael Carrier on TikTok @ Michael Carrier 97, and Megan with an HN off Instagram @ one and only Blonde. And with that being said, it's almost playoff time. So if the Lions do pick up this win, then my favorite thing in the world to do is give away playoff tickets, and that's what we're going to do. So if you subscribed, stay subscribed, because more likely than not, our next giveaway will be a subscriber giveaway. If you are following us on Instagram, you need to stay followed, so that way when we post our next giveaway, you can tag all your friends and like the picture. If you followed us on TikTok, stay tuned there as well, because if the Lions win and we have home playoff games, we're giving away more tickets. That's just how we do it. So thank you for everybody that entered. Like I said, 15,000 entries. That's crazy. Over 1,000 subs on YouTube, over 8,000 followers on TikTok, over 11,000 on Instagram. Like, we could not do this without you guys. So stick with us. Tell your friends, because we're going to keep giving away tickets from now till the end of time. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys. Thanks for tuning in all year. Man, I really hope we're here in elation on Monday, but it doesn't always work that way. And remember, this Lions team was just undefeated on the road, so if they don't end up winning, it's not the end of the world. They'd be going on the road to take on a Rams team that they already beat earlier this year, and then a Tampa team that they should have beat earlier this year, but they didn't. But I trust both of those. I trust both of those environments will favor our fans because we're all crazy enough to go there. But it doesn't always work that way. But I think this is the dream season still. I think good things are coming. I have a really good feeling that Ford Field will be just iconic on Sunday. And I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited for Detroit to be the literal center of the universe on Sunday night. It's all anyone's talking about. I don't remember, Uncle Sam, do you remember an NFL regular season game talked about as much as this one?
No.
There's none that are coming to mind instantly. I know there's ones that are up there, but the stakes of those games have never been this high. It's usually like Tom Brady going back to New England or you know, it's usually things that aren't as big as this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's cool. We get it in our city.
I kind of like that it's at the end of the year. I mean, this is the perfect scenario. There's so many games that matter because normally this time of the year everybody's clinched everything, and I like the drama of it.
Yeah,
because that's all it is drama right now because that's the way it played out.
No, there's never been drama like this. There's never been.
When have you ever seen two 14-2 teams go at it?
It's never happened. It's never happened.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Unless it's in the playoffs, of course. So
right.
we get it at home. We get an extra playoff game at Ford Field. We get it. We get that game after years. That stadium opened in 2002, so this is season number, 22, and then there was a pandemic season they took off. We'll call it 20 years of not playing meaningful games at Ford Field. And this was a moniker for years was, you know, let's play meaningful games in December. You get the most meaningful game of all time in your building in December. And what's not to like? I mean, we get it. And I hope the city's buzzing. I hope even if you're not going to the game, if you're able to make it downtown, like I think it's going to be a really special atmosphere on Sunday, and everyone enjoy it. Try and stay calm for the next couple days, but enjoy the shit out of it because we deserve this as fans, and I still think this is our year. Despite the injuries, despite how the last few months have gone, they've still only lost 2 games all year. This is our year. And we're going to get win number 15. We're going to get the 1 seed. The NFC Championship game is going to be here. We're going to beat whoever it is, and we're going to go to the Super Bowl. It's going to happen. Do you have anything to add, Uncle Sam?
No.
Can you give us a Go Lions?
Go Lions.
Bruce, do you have anything to add? He signed off already, but thank you, Sam, for giving away the tickets. That's amazing.
Oh, no, I'm here, baby. We're partying
he's there.
still.
Oh, pull him back up.
You ain't got to worry about it. I'm still here.
Do you have anything to add?
I'm talking to all of our lovely fans in the chat on TikTok and YouTube and getting hold of the winners. What was awesome was 2 of our winners for sure, could have been 3, but 2 of our winners were in the chat when they won. Michael was in the chat on TikTok. Shout out to him. He said he went absolutely crazy. Zach was in here on YouTube. He heard us call his name. Very excited for all you guys. Shoot us a DM. Thank you to literally every single one of you. Could not do it without you. Can't wait to give away some playoff tickets because the Lions are going to win, and I'm excited.
That's a really interesting coincidence that they were in the chat. Maybe you guys should come interact with us all the time because we keep that in mind. When we see you in there, we interact with you, and we want our tickets to go to our loyal listeners as much as possible. So just remember that. We love to interact with you guys, and we'd love to see you in the chat as much as possible. Oh, wait, but you said one of them wasn't in the chat, right?
Yeah, no, one of them was not in the chat.
Okay, you have a 66% chance if you're people in the chat. I like your odds.
Oh, anybody have anything else to add?
I want to know who won the date with Bruce.
What
You
if we
wanna know-
pay you to go on that date? What if we put together a GoFundMe for you to take her out and go on the date?
Not a GoFundMe. We'll charge the tip balls.
Well, yeah, of course,
Go
we'll
out with
pay for
Bruce
it.
on tip balls.
No, I want cash.
Listen, if we're gonna keep giving away tickets, there's not gonna be any money for Bruce to take her to McDonald's afterwards. So we'll start a Bruce's date GoFundMe at that point.
No McDonald's,
The
Bruce.
quarter pounder
Mr.
with
Paul's
cheese
that
combo.
night. Mr. Paul's that night. You buy her a night. Jacqueline, if you're here, he's gonna buy you a nice steak. We'll get him to go on that date.
We're
No,
gonna go for a walk down Mac
You're-
Avenue.
you're gonna
grab
have a little
Mr.
bit of
A's
some
belly buster.
chicken
That's
nuggets
fine.
and fries.
That's fine. Get it. One of you get the OJ. One of you guys get the white Bronco belly buster. That's a great
Oh.
first date.
Okay, for sure.
Real quick, Nizar Farhat in the TikTok chat. How do you guys feel about Kirby not making the Pro Bowl?
Oh man.
What?
That's a great question.
What do you mean?
I've been battling people on Twitter for the last 2 days about this. Oh man, you had to put this bait out there. I'm gonna take it. For the Lions fans that are still there, and Danny and Brendan, if you could see this, I want this Instagram. Kirby Joseph
Okay.
not making the Pro Bowl after leading the league in interceptions. He's higher rated than both people that got selected over him in the NFC. He was number one in the fan vote, which means that the players vote and the coaches vote, which accounts for a third each, voted him down. Matthew Stafford came out and got mic'd up and said Kirby Joseph was a dirty player, and we all know it. If Kirby Joseph was so dirty, why has he never been fined or suspended for anything he's ever done on the field? Why has it never happened? You want to take out
Hey,
because he goes for the
I-
knees?
You know what? In defense of their decision, they made this decision prior to the last game. The last game is when he got the 2 picks and he leads the league in interceptions. I'm sure this decision was made prior to that. So I think it's kind of dumb. They should have waited till the league ends before they announced that kind of shit.
There's 18
And they
weeks.
didn't. Huh?
There's 18 weeks, and they didn't even
Well,
they didn't
right.
even
I mean,
incorporate 17.
He leads the league now because of his last game. But, you know, I mean, he's good. You know he's good. So I don't have too much hate about that. It is what it is.
I didn't play football for long. I played it for 3 years. I did play DB, though, and I can tell you that you are taught to tackle as a DB when someone bigger than you is coming towards you in open space, a ball carrier, so typically a tight end, Kraft, Higbee, Hawkinson, whatever. You are taught to aim below the waist and lead with the top of your body. To call that an illegal hit, how the hell is he supposed to take down tight ends running at him at 18 miles an hour down the field? How else is he supposed to do it? You want him to go and grab their chests when they're already low? It literally doesn't work that way. So to call a player illegal for something he's never been fined for is horrible. I think Stafford's comments have all to do with this from the players and coaches' perspective. And it's just stupid. If you want to call Kirby Joseph dirty because you don't have him on your team, that's fine. Not only is he the best safety in football this year, you can make the case that he's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. You don't believe me? Look at the odds for Defensive Player of the Year right now. Kirby Joseph is on it above all of the safeties that were picked above him in the Pro Bowl. Bullshit.
I watched
man.
Rob Gronkowski get his knees blown out about 3 or 4 times, getting tackled low throughout his career. And I don't remember people talking about people being dirty trying to bring him down.
It's part of the game.
Part of the game.
It's
man.
part of the game.
Injuries are part of the game, bud.
It happens. That hip
Injuries are
drop
part of
tackle,
the
the,
game.
the hip drop tackle thing, yeah, that was bad. They had to take that out of the game. It sucks because
You
it's
know
hard
what?
to tackle
They-
guys.
They don't have a choice anymore. They're trying to eliminate defense. Is what they're trying to do.
Exactly.
It could just become an offensive
Exactly.
fucking fallacy.
I got in an argument with someone on Twitter on this. He goes that someone said he's objectively dirty. He's a piece of shit. Well, no, objectively is your opinion because there's literally no statistic to measure dirty players other than fines and suspensions. He's never been fined or suspended. And if you
I've seen people get fined and suspended for stupid reasons.
exactly.
So that, you know what? It is what it is. Let's say.
You know who's objectively dirty? Kelly
All right.
Stafford.
Kelly Stafford. Aziz Al-Shire is objectively dirty, and you know
he's
what?
not.
He
No,
got a
he's not.
4-game
You know
suspension
what?
for it.
I hated that play from the time it happened. Trevor Lawrence had every opportunity to get his ass down well before he got in front of him. And if you're not going to go down, you deserve to get your head taken off. You're a runner. And they need to change that rule just because of a quarterback running in the field of play. You're a runner, dude. You're a fucking runner. You own up to it. And if you're going to slide, you better get your fucking ass down before these guys are getting ready to launch at you. That's your fault. That is the fault of the league for letting this precedence, watching Patty Mahomes running down the field like a point guard and nobody putting their fucking hands on him because they're going to get a personal foul as soon as they touch him. It's a fucking joke. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Sam?
Road to the Super Bowl goes through Arrowhead, baby.
That's right. That's right. Just remember that.
Go Lions.
Go Lions. Thank you
Go
for listening.
Vikings.
Sam, why don't you
Thank
take us
you
out?
for
Why don't
listening
you
to
bring
the
us out?
What?
Why don't you bring us out? You haven't done it in a while, and I don't know how to do it right.
Take us out. I will gladly take us out. Thank you all so much for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Make sure to follow our socials. Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls, TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast. That is where we do most of our giveaways. But you know what? If you haven't, click subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified when we go live Mondays and Fridays sometime around 5. Then you're missing out on opportunity to win more tickets and also on the greatest football content known to man, because we will be back Monday, a Victory Monday, to rehash everything that happened this weekend. Thank you guys so much for entering the giveaway. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining us in the chat. We cannot wait to see you all on Monday.